You're welcome. Let me just take this opportunity and ask you one question before you click away. If you had the opportunity to be able to rent a supercar and cruise it, would you? If you would, then my people, you are in the right place. Do not click away, because then Ford, Shelby and Sixt are giving you the opportunity to be able to rent a supercar and then cruise it yourself. The alliance between Ford, Shelby and Sixt is giving you Ford Mustang Shelby GTS, which is the coolest summer car that you could ever rent in your hood if the program runs in your area, and this is happening in summer. Now Sixt is actually supercharging its lineup, literally, and the car rental company has actually ordered 21 custom Mustangs from Shelby American, and they will be adding that to their fleet of rentable vehicles that you and me can have access to. Just hold on, I'll tell you a little bit about it. They ordered 21 pieces, 20 for rentals and 1 for the CEO of Sixt. But this Mustang is going to be painted in Sixt orange and black corporate color scheme, and the coupe features, interestingly, the same 5.0 V8 engine, but has been retuned and supercharged to produce and give you 600 plus horsepower. And this comes in an environment programmed to deliver the best. And when I mean environment programmed, retuned suspensions, high performance Brembo brakes, of course 6 badges will be all around it, and an updated interior with Shelby logos. And it is actually equipped with Ford's 10-speed automatic transmission, thanks to renters and developers. So this is great. When I heard about it, I was like, wow, is this really a possibility? Yes, it is. If you live in areas where this is happening in summer, you can actually have that number of power under your feet, under your butts, and then you can cruise it. So just let's go through it. If that is why you're here, I have a lot of information that will aid you and help myself also. But I believe that for us to understand and appreciate what we are getting in this supercharger, we need to retrospect, time travel to 1965s, where this production vehicle began, and the alliance also continued and has brought us here. So just give me a few minutes and let me go through that with you, and I'm sure we'll get some information that will be substantial to our cause, and they will excite us for the coming of this vehicle. So assuming we are in 1965, this is what is happening. The first generation GT350 was born here, and these cars, look on your corner there, that's what I'm talking about. These cars were the smallest and the lightest of the GT350 models that they have ever produced. And I'm sure you've heard of Ford Cobra before. These were the cars that they call the Cobras. They were bitey as a Cobra, and these were Ford powered AC based 2-seat sports cars that were produced by Shelby American during the same period. Both models sports the Cobra emblem, similar paint scheme, and optional Cobra valve covers. All the 66, 65 produced ones came with a single engine configuration, which was the K-Code 271 horsepower, which produced 289 pound-feet of torque, a 4.7 liter V8 engine, but it was eventually modified to produce 306 horsepower. Join me again. Now we are in 66, and this is where it began. The GT350s lost the Mustang badge tag and was marketed simply by Shelby as Shelby GT350, no more Mustang attached. The new model saw the introduction of a lot of things. One of them was a non-white colors, which included blue, red, green, and black, far apart from the initial previous generations. And there were other changes. Some were special rear quarter panel windows replacing the factory extractor vents. It came with functional brake scoops on each side, and again optional select shift 3-speed automatic, as well as an optional Paxton supercharger that could be slapped on that motor. The battery in the previous generations were relocated to the trunk, but from 66 upwards it was relocated to the former place, and the overrider traction bars were discontinued. The normal factory fold down rear seats was optional here, and all the 65s came with black engine blocks. With time, the 66 began repainting the engine blocks to Ford's dark blue engine coloring, and they all came with a dual exhaust exiting through the rear. Now, the first 52 of these GT350s were produced in the 66, and they were all based on the 1965 Mustang K-Code fastbacks. These were specially ordered by Shelby American for conversion, and when they got in, they randomly picked them and converted them. So instead of having a sequential VIN numbering, it didn't happen like that because of the random pickups that they did with the conversion, and that is what happened. A total production of these vehicles in the 66 were 1,373 fastbacks, and these included 2 prototypes and 4 drag race cars, and all of these were based on the Ford Mustang 1965 body styles. And this is where the alliance began. Hertz, at this time, a rental company, ordered 1,003 fastbacks, which included 2 prototypes. And this gave birth to a car that we call the 1966 Shelby GT350 Hertz. The H in quotation means Hertz. Shelby struck a deal with Hertz Corporation to provide a special line of GT350s for rent and after rentals, as in when the period of the rental contract ends, these vehicles will go back to Ford, and then Ford will refurbish them, renovate them, and sell to the general public as the GT350H models, where again the H will stand for Hertz. Most of these Hertz GT350 cars came in gold lemon stripes and rocker panel stripes, although a few came in white with blue stripes on top of it. The first 85 of the 1,003 that Hertz ordered came in, and the 85 all had 4-speed manual transmission, and Hertz actually advertised them in quotation marks as race a rent car, and that was $17 a day and 17 cents a mile at the time. A lot of renters took advantage of this heavy duty machine and raised these cars in production class cars as a SCCA event. Some even fitted roll bar cages in some of them for some of these races. A lot more also took performance parts out of these cars. So when the remaining 800 pieces of the ordered Hertz were coming, Hertz actually requested strictly that it came in black and gold strip and black interior with automatic transmissions, and this was the reason that gave birth to Hertz color coding, the gold on black with black interior automatic transmission for the GTH from that time. So if you look at my right hand side, you see the first generation GT350, the color coding, how light it was and how it was built, and that is the car that kickstarts the GT modification between Hertz and Shelby and Ford up to this point. Now 40 years down the line, that brings us to 2006. The second generation was given birth to, and that was called GTH, where the H still stood for Hertz. Shelby, along with Mustang, also designed a new variant based on the V6 Mustang engine, and they did a lot of modifications on the motor, and slapped a supercharged component on it that produced 350 horses. They also slapped a 20-inch wheel bearing the Shelby name and a Cobra badge on each side and under the deck lid, and they lowered the suspension by 2 inches. They slapped the Bayer and Shelby 14-inch front and rear brakes and an aggressive front fascia and a dual exhaust. Interestingly, only 500 of these were produced because of certain circumstances, and this GTH second gen is one of the rarest Shelby Hertz Alliance vehicles produced in the entire period. Ford introduced the GTH during the 2006 New York Auto Show and unveiled it like its predecessor, the GT350H, with a color combination of gold on black, and then was only available through Hertz rental agency. Yes, so that is how it began. But Ford did not leave the GTH there. They did something else that further made that car very unique and very different. Ford Racing Performance Group provided Shelby with the FR1 power pack to add a 25 more horsepower to the existing Mustang GT powertrain, plus an additional 10 pound-feet of torque that was added on per that package. The package actually comprised of a 90mm cold air kit, a muffler kit, a new X-pipe, and a Ford Racing GTA axle back mufflers. The Ford Shelby GTH also had the Ford Racing handling pack, which is the FR3 pack, which also included tuned dampers, lower springs, sway bars, struts, braces, and a Ford Racing 3.55:1 ratio rear axle assembly. And like I said, a total of just 500 pieces were built in commemoration of the 40th anniversary of the original Shelby GTH 350. And that is where the second generation ended and carried on 10 years later to give us the third generation GTH 2016. On the 50th anniversary of the Rent a Race program, Ford, Hertz, and Shelby introduced the 2016 Shelby GT based on the 5.0 V8 Mustang engine. So look at it, yes, at the right corner. This is a 2016 model, and it was aggressive, it was enhanced, and it was crazy. The 5.0 liter V8 Mustang engine, Shelby enhanced the Mustang with the Ford Performance component, which included the suspension, exhaust, and wheels, along with the Shelby design clues like the polycarbonate hood, the strips. And then at the beginning of the Memorial Day, 140 pieces of this had been delivered, and it was only accessible through Rent a Race's car through the Hertz Adrenaline collection. There are several logos and emblems that was spread through the car, with the GTH logos on the grille, the Fox gas cap, and the trunk lid. Shelby actually replaced the standard splitter and a rear spoiler with elements made with carbon fiber, and slapped on 19-inch aluminum wheels, which were wrapped with Michelin Performance rubbers, 255/40 in front and then 275/40 at the rear. The interior of the Mustang that you see at the corner there is based on the standard Mustang. Only a few features where we set them apart in the interior, and that is the GTH logo that was slapped on the headrest, and a few customizations of the GTH lettering here and there. But you cannot talk about a GTH without talking about a cutback exhaust system from the Ford Performance Group. And so this one had a cutback exhaust system from the Ford Performance Group. This specifically gave this 2016 GTH a much more throatier sound, which I will play for you to hear very soon. And this is how it sounded. Yes, that is how it sounded, and this is great. So a Shelby GTH head engine plug were added, as in engine cap kit, and were all over the vehicle, and that is how we actually ended up with the third generation. So this is the process that it went through from that time up to now, and I would like to then jump to why we are here. The Sixt Mustang Shelby GTS 2019. This is a craze, and this is a car when I hear about, I get so fascinated because of the color combination, the amount of power and engineering that went through it, and the fact that you can actually take it for a ride for just a day or two and hand it over back to them. That is great. So now in 2019 we have the Sixt Mustang Shelby GTS 2019, which was built on the alliance between Hertz, Shelby, and Ford. Unfortunately, this time around, it is not built on alliance between Hertz and the two, but Sixt and Ford and Shelby. Shelby is actually back in the hot rental car game with the 2019 Shelby GTS Mustang. But this is a rental company that had rented Shelby cars back in the 1960s, and this was an international car renting company spelled Sixt. And you know, Sixt and Shelby claim that they are giving the enthusiast a bonus package. What is that bonus package? Yeah, I believe it is a bonus package. Actually, this is what it is. A special bonus package that they say they've given us is that this is the first supercharged Mustang that is offered on rental in the whole world. So it's a part of history, and it's a big bonus too, because it hasn't happened before to actually have a supercharged Mustang being offered for rental, so that you can take it out for a spin a day and then return it. That is if you what you want to do. Interestingly, that supercharger was installed by Shelby based on the same 5.0 V8 engine, but Shelby managed to bump up the horses power to give you more of 600 plus horses power, and this is great. It is incredible when it's in the supercharged mode, and this is a little bit of the information that we have about it. It will only be available, and this power will be mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission, which I believe will be commensurate to the power that it will be given to it to handle. Of course, you cannot give that much power without creating an enabling environment. So Ford improved upon the performance aspects by, as usual, upgrading the performance aspects of the vehicle, including upgraded Brembo front brakes, Ford Performance springs, and anti-roll bars and boiler cut back exhaust. You cannot do a GTH without a cut back exhaust, and this is a boiler cut exhaust. Now visually, this is getting an orange paint job with a black strip on it, or a black paint job with an orange strip on it to match Sixt corporate colors, and it will come with the Shelby GT body kit as well as the Shelby wheels, and the inside will sport a black and orange leather interior with orange stitching and embroidery. Let me show them to you in pictures. So this is what you're seeing, and the harmony, the stitching, they were all cleverly and beautifully done. And I'm sure when you drive in this car, the driver interaction and the feeling that you get driving such a beast and in a beautiful environment like that, you would really enjoy yourself. Now you may be wondering how much it will set you back if you want to take it a day for a spin. That hasn't been set yet, but rumor has it that it will not be anything more than $200 per day. Like I said, it is rumor that has it that. So you can't hold me responsible, and you can't hold anybody responsible, but very soon it will show up and we'll know. But it will be something that you can afford. However, if you don't want to rent and you want to personalize one for yourself, you would probably, for the GTS, have to wait till it has done its period for the rental period. When it goes back to Ford to be refurbished and sold to the public as a GTS, then you can personalize one for yourself. By then, pricing would have changed, and who knows. It is only 21 pieces requested, and 20 is going to do the job. One goes to the CEO. Who knows, maybe the patronization might change their minds as to how many quantities they want to put in the system and what they want to do about it. But as it stands now, the GTS is only 21 pieces in the entire production lineup, so take care of it. Now if you can't wait, there is good news for you. I'll tell you about it soon, don't go away. But this is how it stands, and it's coming out in Southern California, Southern Florida, and Las Vegas, where these programs run. So if you live in any of these areas, it is great news for you. You can have access to it by summer, and it will be the coolest rented supercharged Mustang pony vehicle in town at the time. If you don't want to rent, and again you want to personalize one, you have an alternative, which is the Ford Mustang Shelby GT500. The GT500 is more like a bigger brother of this one, and that is providing you with over 700 horses power, which is when it is actually in the supercharged form. So then you'll be getting more power even than the GTS at this point, and that will set you back around $61,000 for the base price, and it will be worth the price. They'll come with additional handling and hardcore packages, of which I would do an episode of this video and extend deeper into what the GT500 is about and how it stacks up against the GTS Hertz edition. So stay tuned, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, just subscribe and like it, and turn on your notification bell so that as soon as this video goes up, you'll be one of the first people to get access to it, and then be able to stack up your intents with the information you have. So this is what the Sixt Mustang Shelby GTS is about, where it came from, where it has come to, and where it will be going next. So then we'll bring this conversation to an end, and for additional information on what we do on this channel, just click on the I button at the top there, and you have access to a lot of our other contents that might be relevant to you. Thank you and have a good day. This is GH Drive. Peace.